At Port Said, we take a white train for the 4-hour ride to Cairo. Here we first become acquainted with the long-robed Egyptian dragoman. Our baggage is handed through the window. With all on board, we are off on our journey. For the first hour and a half, we pass along beside the Suez Canal, and we have a chance to see the great waterway that connects the east with the west. We make several stops along the way, and finally arrive in Cairo. Upon our arrival in Cairo, we are surprised to find that it is like one of the large European cities. We go first to the world-famous Shepherd's Hotel, which is to be our home during our 9-day visit to Egypt. The hotel stands on the site where Napoleon, after the Battle of the Pyramids in 1798, established his headquarters for his occupation of Cairo. A dragoman or native guide is having an argument with the police, perhaps because of a tourist's complaint of an overcharge, or more likely because he refuses to remain on the far side of the street where all guides are supposed to wait until summoned. Here they are across the street. Another funeral. Along the street before the hotel, this Muslim funeral passes. Many every day pass before the hotel. Another funeral, this one larger than the first. The women members of the deceased's family ride to the rear in one of those curious two-wheel wagons that are the taxis of the poor. The Terrace of Shepherds is one of the most famous sights in the world. We go down to join the crowd at the tables and to watch the strange traffic that passes by. Across the street, the dragomen are always waiting for victims. We say victims, and if you have ever employed one, you know why. As a rule, they are walking mines of misinformation, and each tells you that he is the son of a great sheikh. If you do not employ one, they all follow you about and bother you, until, for sure relief, you engage one to keep the others away. On the sidewalk, we mingle with the passers-by. The modernization of Cairo was the work of the first of the Khedives, Ismail Pasha, who after a visit to Paris returned with a resolve to transform his city by the Nile as Napoleon III had transformed the city by the Seine. His extravagances practically placed his realm in pawn. He laid out many parks and many fine boulevards and erected a magnificent opera house as part of the program for the celebration of the opening of the Suez Canal. The city has been likened to a fashionable piece of furniture placed upon an Eastern rug. While the city has gained in its modern characteristics, it has lost much of its old-time picturesqueness. Nevertheless, within its ancient precincts, there are still many streets where the old-time atmosphere is found. The chief thoroughfare of the Arab part of Cairo is the Mosque. It leads from this square of Araba el-Qadra and traverses the entire breadth of the old town. This square has lost much of its external oriental characteristics, but the oriental features of the traffic that surges back and forth are still unchanged. Even the old-time horse car of the Muski does a thriving business. Towering above the city is a huge fortress called the Citadel. Upon it stands a splendid mosque. The tall, slender minarets and the low, graceful domes may be seen even from the narrow streets of the bazaars. Built by Muhammad Ali as a tomb for himself, it is the dominating feature of the Egyptian capital. The view from the Cairene citadel is most imposing. In the distance may be seen the dim shadows of the three great pyramids. Nearer, through a belt of verdure stretching to the north and south as far as the eye can see, flows the river Nile, and at our feet the largest city in Africa. Directly below us rises the mosque of the Sultan Hassan, said to be the finest existing monument of Egyptian Arab architecture. Cairo has been called a city of minarets, for mosques are more numerous here than churches are in Rome. We wander through the bazaars and among the oriental dwellings that seem thousands of miles removed from Western civilization. This is the Cairo of the Arabian conquerors of Egypt. Though water is piped all over Cairo, a water carrier still finds customers. The Egyptian mother carries her baby straddling her shoulder. Most of the Arab barbers have their shops in the open. The assistant in the background is fanning away the flies. It is interesting to watch how skillfully the artisans work with tools of the most primitive description. This wood turner is equally dexterous with hands and feet. Domino playing is a favorite pastime of the Arabs. We leave the bazaars and pass through the suburb of Old Cairo, the oldest Arab settlement in the Cairo district. Near this gate stands the Mosque of Amra, the oldest mosque of Cairo, and the Coptic church of Abu Saga, in the crypt of which, according to tradition, the Virgin and Child spent a month after the flight into Egypt. From here we cross the Nile and motor over a splendid boulevard to the Mina House, where camels are waiting to carry us to the pyramids and to the Sphinx. Always a lot of fun to watch the other fella get on board. Hold on tight, he's going to rise. The pyramids, the colossal sepulchres of kings, and the hugest structures ever reared by man, stand upon the edge of the desert, their bases covered by the sand. Our fellow cruise passengers pose before the great monuments that were built nearly 5,000 years ago. All things, it is said, fear time, but time fears the pyramids. crouches the Sphinx, the gigantic figure of a lion with a human head, typifying the union of intelligence and strength. Built over 6,000 years ago, it is probably the oldest relic of human workmanship the world knows. We find a German film company making movies between the pores, where once stood an altar dedicated to the rising sun. Time and Muslim fanaticism have destroyed the features of its faith, but this relic of Egyptian antiquity still stands, solemn and silent, a symbol of eternity.